And as always, this was just an ideal timeline given to you in order to help you through the process and where you are right now. But right now might be a good time to look at what should we do now in case you have not finished things. So that is why if you have less than 3-4 months left and you have to finish off all the other things right now, what I would recommend is do it in this manner. So, for example, you should prepare for GRE and GMAT. You should get your CV done, get your school selected, finish your GRE GMAT again, and then of course take the TOEFL or IELTS. So all these, it will be great if you're getting done it in September itself or by October, worst case scenario. Then start approaching your recommenders, start working on the essays, the transcripts, and applying to the applying to the schools, like identifying which schools to apply. Then comes like focus on profile building, as well as working on the finalizing of the drafts of all of these things, like finalizing your SOPs, CV, LORs, and applications. And last but not the least comes like applying right within the deadlines to the respective schools. And that's pretty much it. So because of all this factor, it is better for you to be considering this particular timeline. All right. So it is very much possible if you're starting even now, it is very much possible for you to complete your journey and still apply by like December and January. Okay, that should be the time frame. So now when you look at the here's an example of a sample task tracker. I'm going to take a moment and let you guys to read through this for a second before I explain it for you. So let me just give you like a minute to do this. All right. So now that you got the time to look at this one, right? Let's look at how do we work on things. So this is exactly what I had told you previously before, but it needs you to be able to multitask. If you haven't done one of the steps before, you need to squeeze in time for it now and then make sure that you're getting it done. And that's it at the end of the day. Okay. So when you look at this, see, for example, we take care of all the things that have the most important priority. Example, see, without, if your school demands that you need a GRE, without a GRE you can't apply. Okay. And if you need a TOEFL, you without a TOEFL or IELTS you can't apply. So whatever is required for the applications, we are going to like finish those things first, and then we look at other options and see if you have then time for it, then you can go in for other profile building activities. Okay, so that's pretty much the way to look at this one, and then accordingly you can just take it up and then go ahead with whatever is required. So this is like a quick timeline, and people often ask me, Kritika, I have not finished my GRE, can I go for it now? Will I be still able to apply? The answer is yes. You'll be able to apply provided you're able to prioritize and accordingly make time for whatever is required for you to do it in the fashion that's shown here. Quickly, guys, I understand that. Sorry, you might have answered this before, but for some reason we do have like a little bit of a technical difficulty where it's not showing up. So would request you to quickly vote again and apologize for the inconvenience. But yeah, see here, I really hope that you guys are very confident of going in for fall 2022 because we are here to support you for that reason. All right. Okay, there we go. So we do have um, a lot of you are confident, and that's the, and as well as many of you are very sure. So that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, cool. So let's come to business. What does it take to get an application? So I'm sure that you would have seen this in my previous session as well. You would have seen this from day one when I'm telling you, hey, what is required for someone who needs to get into a grad school program? Now, so what is the big difference here is that now we are actually starting to put together the application. So some of it is about logistics. And what do I mean by logistics? It's like, for example, you will collect your application, your online application, over here, the online application. You will like look at your test scores, reports, because reports have to be sent to the school. Say, for example, you're applying to University of Michigan, okay, my alma mater, and University of Michigan is not one of the schools you selected for GRE. In that case, you're going to send an additional score report, to University of Michigan. So ordering those reports and making sure it is going to University of Michigan, that is an example of a logistical problem. So right now, many of the things that you need to do are mostly logistical in nature, in the sense that get the online transcripts from your university and then make it available. Get your degree certificate if you're a working professional or a student who has graduated. So in that case, you will have a provisional certificate. So get all these certificates. And then if it's again a TOEFL or an IELTS or test score, again you get the test score report, official test score report, and make it available to the respective graduate school. Of course, an online application, I will come to this in a bit. Then your resume or CV, which is again an important parameter. And then, of course, your last but not the least, the details that you have to send your recommenders so that you can get the recommendation letters. And then, of course, the essays. So, we have seen this almost every single time. And every single time I tell you about a different aspect. So, right now, we are focusing on the online application right here. And you should be in a position to open up. See, how many of you have already selected your schools, and if so, have you already opened up your applications? Okay, so here's my quick question for you. So, when are you beginning your application process? I hope you say today. I mean, even though that option is not there, you can choose October if you really want to do it. October is not too far away. But ideally, we would like to have you guys finish your applications by November 15th. Is there a magic date why November 15th? The answer is that if you're going to do it early, you will have like all chances of being able to get selected soon enough and getting a result earlier. Okay, the faster you do, the easier it is for you. But I know that some of you might be considering January also. No shame in that. As long as you're putting together your best application, no shame at all in terms of when you're applying. And as long as you're applying before the deadline, no shame again. Okay. But if you apply early, you do have certain benefits. The benefits of getting the admits early, the benefits of being able to get the visa early, the benefits of being able to get scholarships early, and obviously it's a huge benefit. Okay, so one thing I would like to tell about online applications right now is that um, this is basically nothing but the backbone around which you're going to put together the rest of the documents, right? And you have like portals everywhere that are going to help you. um, so I have like 50-50 people like who have like applied here for both October as well as November. Okay, excellent, very good. So that is why we're going to quickly take a look at the case study. So this is a time where I would like to hear about what is your favorite school or the targeted school for you also. If you can just quickly type it out, that'll be great. All right, thank you so much. Um, so I have people here talking about um, Harvard, Georgia Tech, um, then FH Aachen. Okay, very nice. Good. So yeah, there are many programs that you might be selecting at this point of time, right? I'm going to just show you one of the examples. Why have I chosen Georgia Tech is because it's one of those programs which has a lot of as you say, it has like many other questions, so it becomes a good case study. And again, we when we show this, you will have a good idea of like what all is needed, right? So let's start. What should I do first whenever I'm opening up an application? Is I obviously get a login, I log into the system, get a user ID, password, blah blah blah. You do the usual stuff, and after that, you know, you will skim through the application like this. Go through everything at a glance to see what's coming up. Typically you will have like what they call are the navigational links out here. It's kind of like navigational tabs or links. So you look at the tabs at the top where my pointer is moving, and also look at the other you can also look at the over here, these are the blue links. Okay, so you are going to skim through each of these sections very quickly, like how I am doing. So we basically have taken the screenshots to make it easier for you, and there's a handout as well, so which you can consider. The handout has all these things. Okay, so quickly when you're looking at these things, you will understand whatever is required. And you see that there are certain things to be filled out. So one by one, go through them quickly and get a sense of like what is it that's being asked. Okay, and just skim through all the sections: test scores, professional development, okay, employers, military information, recommendations, ad recommenders, application documents, etc. So yeah, and SOP, of course, which is what we always work on a lot. Your then your signature, and so on, right? That's it. So in this case study, what you saw was it's very simple for you to go through all the different categories and understand what is needed. So sometimes, like for example, Stanford does not allow you to move to the next section unless you filled one section. So you might have like portals like that, but many of the portals are very flexible. They let you fill in any section at any time. As long as you're filling all the parts of the application and submitting, they're okay with it. Okay, so look at what is required one by one in the same manner that I told you. After that, what should you do? Go into it in depth. So first thing is read the instructions wherever they are. And let's look at it. So here it says that to navigate through the application, use the blue navigational links on the left side of the screen. All right, so that's something that's very easy for us. That's what we did. And then the second thing is that, um, sorry. And the second thing here would be that all the ability to download, upload documents, submit your request, recommendation requests, and your test scores, etc. And the third thing is that, the fact that you don't have to complete this application in one sitting. See, for example, if you have to do it in one sitting, they will let you know. If you have to do it sequentially, one stage by one stage, they will also let you know. Okay, so there are many different portals out here, so read those instructions, just makes your life easier. And then read through this and then understand like what all is required. So very simple out there. Then what happens is there are other instructions which are needed. See, for example, this particular Dhaka instruction is not needed for you. On the other hand, the transcripts is very much required for you, right? You need to know what kind of transcripts are required, whether it's unofficial or not. See, let me tell you a story. So I had this client who wanted to get a transcript. So they applied to their university and they got the transcript 1 year later. True story. Okay. Actually, then you might ask, like, what did the person not apply? Actually, the person did not apply. You know why they did not apply? Because they did not get the transcript on time. Simple as that. And what is a transcript? It is nothing but it's a mark sheet on which the registrar has put a seal and then sent it to you. Simple as that. Okay, but they won't send it to you directly. They're going to give it to you in an sealed envelope. Okay, and so then what do? You open up, you literally tear open the envelope, take out the transcript, okay, and scan it. So that becomes unofficial transcript. All right, many of the programs will tell you about what kind of transcripts they need. If it is official means the physical hard copy, which is in the sealed envelope. Some of the programs will require you to post it to them. Okay, so there are programs which require it, but these are very rare these days. Many of them say that, hey, you know what, just send us the unofficial transcript, okay, which contains all these things. All right, and official transcripts are needed only if you're admitted and accept your offer to attend Georgia Tech. Do not send the unofficial transcripts unless you're requested to do so by the Office of Graduate Studies. Okay, so that is kind of the thing. You have to apply to your university to get the transcripts. Now the question will be, how many transcripts should you send? See, typically we used to say that it should be one per school plus two. Why did we say that? Is because it was just that in case your school requires you to send the official transcript, even after you get your I-20, for example, if you want to get your I-20, the school might ask you to send your official transcript. And because of all that reason, we told that for every school you'll have to send it, so keep like one school plus two. But nowadays, because the number one, the transcripts are expensive. Number two, the schools require only unofficial transcripts. So if the school is needing only unofficial transcript, then you don't have to get a official transcript for it right now. You can always get it later when the school needs it. See, for example, when do we submit it? We all submit it. See, for example, I submitted my transcripts when I went to University of Michigan. So I went there and in person handed it over to the respective folks. So that is something that you can do. So that way you can save some money as well as time. But definitely some transcripts are needed. So what numbers we typically say gets around 3, 4 at least, and then keep it handy. And you might say, you know what, I'm getting it only till like 20 the sixth semester, right? It is very much possible. So for those of you who are getting it till sixth semester, that can be one of the reasons. All right, cool. So with this, let me just quickly look at some of the one poll um, before we get into this one. So are you ready to apply to the schools? I hope everyone says yes today. If you are having any questions about the transcripts and other things, please keep them coming. Okay, sounds great. Almost everyone is ready to apply now. Great, excellent. Now the question is like, have you all got your transcripts? I mean, if so, can you just drop me a yes or a no? Have you applied for your transcripts or got your transcripts? Okay. All right. So many of you have got it. That's great. If you got it, it's not a big deal. You might say that, hey, why are you like harping on this fact, or why are you like spending so much time on some random transcript? No, the answer is just not a random transcript, guys. I'll tell you one true incident right now, okay, which is happening with one of my clients. So this person has got a transcript at this point of time, okay, and he has applied for one of the foreign credit evaluation agencies called WES, which I'll show you in a bit later on. And the WES misinterpreted the transcript. Okay, so as a result of it, this person has a good score. Okay, but that score has been reflected as 2.85 on 4. Okay, which is like a very different number. Okay, so that is exactly why the transcript is super important, because you may not know what it is. Everyone doesn't have to apply for a WS. In case you're wondering what it is, please stay with me for another 15 minutes and you will know the answer. um but that's one of the reasons why the transcripts become very crucial. Your entire academic performance will be judged by it, so that is why we are so kind of like emphasizing it a lot. Okay, that done, rest of the stuff is super important, super easy for you. Look here, like you have to submit your test scores, super easy. You have to like if you're an international applicant, obviously you need a visa, blah blah blah. So all these are categories and other instructions which you will have to do. Now here's the money slide for you. If you are willing to work a little bit harder, I would say that reach out to the respective graduate programs and see if there is a waiver available for you. Avail an application fee waiver, because that way you will be see, if you're applying to 5 schools, average is $100. Technically, you'll be saving about $500. Okay, so that's why you should try doing it. And any money saved is any money, for especially for a graduate student like you all. So make sure that you're writing to the program, number one. Otherwise, you should attend events and other webinars and other things that are conducted by the respective programs, and then you can also avail the application fee waiver. Sometimes the school will not offer an application fee waiver, so leave it. But what is the harm in asking? So you should ask, and you should make sure that you are also like utilizing your time overall. Fine. So with this, we it's a very simple, straightforward thing, right? So with this, we begin our journey on how to fill out the application. Mark your time now. 10 minutes starts right now. So all these kind of things doesn't really apply to you, so you're not like a European citizen. So overall, the personal background is super simple to fill. How is it super simple to fill? Keep your driver's license, keep your passport, keep your Aadhaar card, keep your mark sheets, keep whatever is required close to you, so that you can fill out easily. Now, how many of you have different names? And you will be like surprised. What are you even asking? No. How many of you have different names? Like, for example, in 10th standard, 12th standard, passport, your undergraduate mark sheets, then any other, sometimes your birth certificate, okay, versus many other things in life. Okay. How many of you have different names? By different names, what do I mean? See, for example, if you take my own case, uh, in the earlier days, we had this provision of, we used to be called by the initials. So my full name is Kritika Srinivasan, but I was always writing it as S Kritika. So because S is my initial and Kritika was my name. But then when I went and applied for a passport, okay, so my 10th standard also will show S Kritika. And even 12th standard will show S Kritika. But when I went for my passport, the passport says Kritika Srinivasan. Okay, and then from there on, everything is Kritika Srinivasan. Okay, so that's what I meant by a different one. So all of you do not have a different name. So that's great. Okay, the reason I asked you for, if at all you have a different name, you will have to submit something called as a same name affidavit. Okay, so that's why we asked you. If you don't have it, all good. Simple, like this personal background is done. You all are pros at filling it. Why did we spend some little bit time on it is because don't fill it incorrectly. Okay, and when you're looking at the email, for you will have to like make sure that you're having a reasonably good email, right? So you don't have it like I am so hot xx and y. To be honest, we do have such kind of email IDs with us right now, and don't have like some random things which don't look professional. So have an email ID which is not very controversial and which is decent. I understand you guys know what I mean. So which is more formal sounding. Okay, so that's the thing. Then of course one other thing to consider is some of the applications will ask you for which program you want to apply. Will give you the provision for applying to couple other programs as well. Choose only one program if at all you're applying. If you want to choose two programs, let us know and we will tell you whether it's good for you or not good for you. So we will let you know about it. And here's where like any other scholarship that you might have received, this is where you register that. And academic information is very simple. If you guys remember, this is why we slog it out with you on the resume and the CV. Whatever you've written in the resume and CV, in addition to that, if you can add things here, it will be for your benefit. See, for example, you may not be in a position to add too many things about the honor and award you received here, right? Or you might have more space to add here. So depending on the space availability, you will be distributing information between the application form as well as the different resume and the other parts of the application. All right, academic history part is super simple. Just upload all your 10th grade, your 12th grade, and all the grades you've been to, what is your institution, etc., etc., and all of it. See, for even for high school, right, you will be submitting what we call as a high school transcript. It is nothing but in India, it is nothing but the HSC, the high school certificate, as well as the SSC, which is a secondary school certificate. Okay, so the HSC and the 10th grade and the 12th grade, those are the ones which are there. Of course, test scores are super simple. This is like a self-declared test scores that you're doing. It's an unofficial test score because you are reporting it. All right, self-reported test scores. But obviously, you will be sending out the official test scores through the respective test providers. All right, and then any other professional development. See, this is exactly where you will understand why Career Labs has been telling you about profile building, because this is a place where you can add anything else you might have. What is Microsoft certifications? Especially Microsoft programming certifications, other things you might have from Adobe, Amazon, Oracle, etc. Project management certifications like PMP, but you may not have PMP. PMP for the working professionals and CAPM for the others. And human resource certifications do exist. MOOCs are massive online courses. Obviously, you are all so familiar with it, like Coursera, EDX, and the others, and all the other possible professional development certifications like CEH, and then CSWA, which is Certified SolidWorks Associate, etc., etc. So anything and everything that you're adding, you're going to be adding it and then showcasing when you have done it, and so on. If at all you have a job, you'll be talking about the employment as well, and then why you left, and then in this description, make use of this description. Okay, so that is the money slide. That is where they will know that you can stand out. So this is where you can always like refer to the CV and the other things and add it. Military information not necessarily applicable for you guys at this point of time. Recommendation. So this is where you choose the right recommender. Typically two academic people and one professional for the technical programs. All right, and if you're applying for an MBA program, you have the GMAC common letter of recommendation. All right, so this is pretty simple. I will tell you about a word of caution here. I have a lot of the times people who miss this or make it like something different, which is why the position could be different than what the person is actually handling. That could cause problems. So don't do that. Your first name, last name, as well as organization, you better be aware of what it is, right? And then you can get going. So for all your recommenders, get this quickly done, and then that should be this one. See, there is one thing where you can send a personal message to recommender. Always, for example, dear Kritika, thank you so much for agreeing to be part of my to agreeing to recommend me to this graduate school program at the Georgia Institute of Technology. I would be it will be great if you could just fill out his recommendation letter. Please let me know if there are any other questions, and I would be very happy to answer any of them. Right, that's it. So always write a message to your recommender, and take advantage of that. And then obviously like upload and download whatever is required out here. So here you will have TOEFL and GRE and GMAT, etc., etc. So all these are the simple thing to do. Upload the documents, upload the file as PDF, blah blah blah, keep it within the word limit, the file limit, whatever limit, etc etc. All right, and then of course the EC verification document for you, and the most important one, which is a statement of purpose right here. So I mean, I have just like taken this one and then added it in the I showed it bigger right out here. So this statement of purpose is what we discussed uh, very much in the last webinar, but also we will be discussing this with you in your application strategy session. The first school to which you're applying, we'll be discussing and helping you with how can you write your statement of purpose and what can you do. All right, and then of course there are going to be other things, and that's it. You're done. So did I not tell you that within 10 minutes you'll be done? See, actually, we did it under 10 minutes. We started like 7 minutes ago. And now you might argue, hey, I have to go in and fill it. No, so will it not take time? No, the answer is it's going to take you less than 30 minutes to actually fill out the application and keep the other things ready. See, provided like, if you're already done your SOP and everything and all that, it's ready. So now why are we bringing this up is because the very first thing that you have to do in order to come to us for the strategy session is to open up this application and tell us like what is the essays that are required. Okay, is there anything else additionally that is required? See, for example, here was an additional thing. No, you could write the description out here, so that's an example of additional stuff. Reason for leaving is an additional stuff. Okay, and do note that everything has character limits, word limit, page limit, line limit, etc. So you have to be keeping that in mind. So if at all you need any help with other aspects of the application, then you can knowing that, you can approach us in the strategy session as well. Okay, so that's the reason why in the strategy session we would request you to just come and let us know about have your application open, and then you will share with us this particular information. So you will share with us what is the essay that is required. So this is called essay prompt, and this is what you will share with us. Okay, so with that we go to the next one. So how excited are you guys for UBC? Do you want to see UBC? You can just quickly type a yes, UBC yes, so that I know what you're responding to. Okay, and some of you are saying yes. Okay, thank you so much. Good. And I know, some of you are saying, "Hey, I'm applying to Germany. I'm applying to Netherlands. I'm applying to Australia. I'm applying to Sweden. I'm applying to Ireland. Will this work?" It obviously works. All right. We took the worst case scenarios and I'm showing you, and therefore it definitely works. So there is nothing different that people are going to ask you in any of the others. There are going to be nuances. See, for example, one school might call it like school leaving certificate, another school might call it high school certificate. You don't know whether you should put your 10th standard or 12th standard. All right. One school might say that add all your this one here and that one here and so on. Okay, so accordingly things are needed. And then um yeah, coming to some of the other information, right? So again, what should you do? Go through the application portal quickly. Example, what do we mean? Go to introduction, go through the contact details, go to academic history, go to test course, etc. So go through this application fully, just like skim through it and scan through it, like a quickly go, under 5 minutes. Just read like whatever it's required. Okay, so because that will tell you about what is it that is needed for this particular application, and then accordingly start with the application instructions as I told you. So here it says that, hey, it takes 45 to 60 minutes to complete the online application, which is true. How is it true? Is because you have to upload. No, so right now we are only finishing the rest of the application, but you have to upload your SOP and your CV and your other details, right? So that might take a little bit of time for certain things and so on. And sometimes they might be like true about it, but trust me guys, we do this at Career Labs for a living, and so we typically let our team take the test and see how fast they can fill out, right? You can fill it out within 30 minutes as well if you have everything ready. And what do I mean by everything ready? See, for example, the first time I skimmed through it, I understood, okay, there are some additional questions, there are some academic history, there's some experience and interest, okay, and so on. So I understood that this is all is required. I started working on it, and then I sit down and complete the application in one shot in 30 minutes, right? Or this one. And now the rest of the portion should take us very limited time. So all these are the regular stuff. If you guys will see it, you all will agree. Then again, this is what I mean. I like British Columbia for doing this because they've accommodated people with disabilities as well. And then we have the academic history part out here. And then, which is again, so this is a part, right? I told you that it might be a little different from different schools. So if you are finding it difficult, just send us a screenshot like this. Tell us that, hey, I'm not sure what I should fill here, or am I filling it correctly, and so on. So you can always like ask us that. Sometimes schools will ask you that. See, for example, some of you, I know that you have a gap from 12th standard and then first year, right, of college. So if at all there are some gaps and other things like that, there are provisions for you to talk about it or show it here. Okay, and so on and so forth. A test scores, we're not going to go into in detail. You all know how to do it. We already done it before. These are all the unofficial stuff. Same thing with the English proficiency test, same thing with the other tests, etc. Very easy. Funding is an important part. So go through all the possibilities of getting the scholarships. Do note this: when you are applying for a particular program, you will be automatically considered for all the other departmental scholarships that are available out there. Okay, for that particular program. So you don't have to submit anything extra for those. See, for example, fellowships that are coming through the department, you will automatically be considered the moment you're applying for the program. All right, so there might be other programs. Remember, like Georgia Tech asked you before itself if there are other programs, so those are the ones that you will take into account. Okay, now these are what I call as the additional fields. So for example, here make sure that whatever you're selecting as an area of interest is there. So now watch this space. So the one that where I'm showing you now, this is important. If you're applying for Canada, they typically need you to identify a research supervisor or another faculty member who will support you during your masters. All right, so this one is something that you can note, and then like start approaching the your supervisors for Canada soon. And then you have like a statement of intent. Okay, overall. So we are here, it will be all right. So here's the statement of intent or the statement of purpose. We already talked about this a lot last time, but this is just for your reference here. The resume, additional questions. So this also let us know if there is some additional questions which are coming. Share it with us so that we can help you to draft it and then give you an outline for it if required. Now references are same as the recommenders. So again, the same thing. Go through all these things thoroughly, because note that a minimum of 3 references are required, right? I apologize for the teeny tiny font here, but you can obviously, you have a handout, guys, so you can always like walk through, watch download the handout and then go through it. You will get an idea for this. All right, and that's pretty much it.